In today's video, I'm doing a pineapple bourbon double smoked spiral ham. Hey, this is Ricer from Dead Broke Barbecue, Wisconsin, and welcome back to the channel. But if you're new here, we try to help you enhance and amplify your backyard barbecue fun, so you might as well subscribe to the channel. Now, this pineapple bourbon double smoked spiraled ham was very easy to cook, a lot of fun, and dang good. And they always taste just a little bit better when you put them on a smoker. So grab a pineapple and a bottle of bourbon, Brett. We're gonna amplify some backyard barbecue fun. Now today I'm doing a real simple prep on this spiral cut ham. I'm not even adding any rub to the outside of it, but we will put a little bit of rub in our pineapple bourbon glaze. So the first thing is just get it out of this cryovac, and then on the bottom of it you want to flip this up and make sure that you get this little piece off, because you don't want to have this end up smoking in your smoker also. I mean, it's plastic, you don't want that in there. Carefully put our ham right back down on this nice little wire rack. There we go, we're all done with our prep. But spiraled ham is really good and it's simple to do. And when you double smoke a ham, it just makes it taste that much better. And I'm using a cherry wood pellet in this cook today. Now you can use other fruit wood pellets or even hickory. Hickory goes really well on a double smoked spiraled ham, but I'm trying to keep these flavors a little bit more mild today. Now let's be honest, all you're doing is reheating this ham. It's already cooked. You can eat it cold if you want to, but when you double smoke it and you add a little bit of a glaze on the outside, it just tastes so much better. So let's get outside and get that Pellet Pro Vertical 2300 fired up. All right, so obviously our first thing that we got to do is just turn on the 2300. Turn the power on, and we're going to turn it to 270 and add 1 to 275. And we're gonna wanna let all that white smoke, as this thing starts to fire up, get out of the chamber. Now today, because we're only doing one ham, I'm gonna put in my baffle. There's no reason to have that whole pit try to keep a temperature. This will help the Pellet Pro Vertical not have to work as hard and actually not use as many pellets either on this cook. We'll just slide the baffle right into the top shelf. And now our fan kicked on because it's gonna start trying to ignite those pellets. And then as soon as the vertical starts burning clean, we'll close up the door and we'll preheat it to 275 degrees. Now obviously this is the white smoke I was talking about, and you don't want that on your ham. Burning pretty clean, we'll close up the door and we'll preheat it, and I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes and our Pellet Pro is coming up to temperature. You can hear this thing kind of puff a little bit, then the fan will come on, then it'll puff again. It's starting to zero in on that 275 degrees. So we'll get some gloves on and get this thing loaded up. Open up the door, pull out our grate. We'll grab our ham and we're gonna place it right in the center of this rack. We'll turn our signals on. Now one nice thing is that the Pellet Pro has these probe ports, so just get your probe in, and we're gonna wanna get it right about here through the grate, because when we open this up and pull that grate out, we gotta give it some slack. And then we're just gonna go ahead and place this probe right here for now, just to give us a good reading. And we're gonna set a timer for 1 hour, and then we'll come back out here and rotate that ham 180 degrees. Okay, so our 1 hour timer went off. Let's go ahead and rotate this spiral cut ham 180 degrees. And we'll pull our shelf out a little bit, and you're gonna wanna wear some liner gloves on this for sure, because this rack's gonna be hot. But we'll just go ahead and spin it around. Starting to juice up a little bit on this ham, that's always good to see. And now I'm gonna set a timer for another hour. I'm just gonna keep on repeating this until I get to that 135 degrees. Once I see an internal temperature of 135, then we're gonna throw on some pineapple bourbon glaze, and it's gonna be tasty. But I wanna be at least at 130, 135 degrees before we start doing it. So I'll see you then. I'm 3 hours into this cook and this spiraled ham is doing great. So now it's time to go ahead and start making up our sauce. I started off with 2/3 of a cup of Maker's Mark bourbon. Then I added 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, then a 1/2 cup of dark molasses, 12 ounces of pineapple preserve. And that's not always the easiest stuff to find, but if you look hard enough, you'll get it. I added 1 cup of light brown sugar, and then I added a 1/2 cup of the notorious pig rub from PS Seasonings. This stuff is awesome. And I'm using my Safari LT rechargeable power generator to run this hot plate. If you haven't seen it, check the links below. This thing is awesome. Now just go ahead and stir it up until it gets nice and warm, and then you can go ahead and pull it off, let it cool down, and that'll thicken it up, and then it's time to go ahead and get this on that ham. I'm at 135 degrees and we're just under 4 hours on this spiral cook ham. Let's go ahead and start getting it glazed up. But first I gotta get this pan underneath it because you don't want all that glaze running on that heat deflector. It's gonna make a huge mess. Now this isn't the easiest part in the whole world to do, but we can get her done. Grab your grate, get it in the foiled pan. I'm actually gonna spin it 180 for this first glaze, and then we're just gonna start painting it up. And you're gonna wanna get a lot of it on there and have it just drizzle down. Especially when you get on this side where it's starting to split open, that is the best part. You want to make sure you get a bunch on the top. Get her turned around for this side. Sure your probe wire isn't shoved underneath it. And we'll get her drizzled on this back side also. Now we'll close up the lid and give it about another 15 minutes, and we're gonna be probably getting pretty close to being done. All right, I'm 4.5 hours into this cook, and this pineapple bourbon spiral cut ham is done. We'll go ahead and open up the door, but before we do that, let's just go ahead and shut down the pellet pro. And that's just simply hit the power button. And we'll turn off our signals. And man almighty, that certainly has some good color. Pull our probe out. We're just gonna leave this pan in here because it's all filled with goo. But oh yeah, that's a nice looking pineapple bourbon spiraled ham. Now we'll just take it, let it rest for about 15 minutes, and I'll meet you by the cutting board and we're gonna have a taste test. This thing looks like candy. Look at it. All right, so this pineapple bourbon ham rested for 15 minutes. I'm crazy hungry and we gotta slice into it. But first, that Smoke Daddy Pellet Pro 2300 vertical, man did it run efficient. It did a great job. 4.5 hours on this spiraled ham. Can't ask for anything better than that. But I gotta start just carving into this. We gotta get through it. Oh boy, oh boy. She's nice and sticky and gooey outside on it. Good moisture in there. Now this top piece my wife is gonna be begging for, so I'm gonna set this off to the side. She just loves these glazed hams. Certainly got some nice penetration from our glaze too. That's awesome. When you get it in like that, we'll just dig down a couple slices because the top ones, let's face it, because it's spiral cut, they do dry out a little bit, but man, the inside is still always awesome. She's drooling. That's a good thing. Take off a chunk and try it out. Awesome. Now this style of ham, it reminds you of when Grandma made it in the oven, but it's just a little bit better because we added better flavors than Grandma did. Now if you're new to pellet grilling, this is super simple and you can't really mess it up. I mean, all we're doing is double smoking it. That's why I call it a pineapple bourbon double smoked spiraled ham. I mean, all we're doing is reheating it, but when you reheat it on a pellet grill, it's twice the flavor. Now the glaze that I put on here today, that's money. You can taste the pineapple, you can taste the Notorious Pig Rub, and you can taste just a little bit of bourbon in it. And the Notorious Pig Rub, that's giving you just a little bit of spice. There's a little bit of red pepper in it. We're eating good in the neighborhood tonight. Wow, crazy tender. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, and I don't know if it's gonna show up on camera, but there's a lot of juice in this cut. I just can't quit eating. Got my show tonight, so I might as well eat as much as I can. I'm gonna be drinking beer then. See, I told you this was gonna be a very simple, easy cook, but if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become a subscriber. Turn on that notification bell because you don't want to miss my next video. But I appreciate you watching and I'll see you in the next one. Turn on that notification bell because you don't want to miss my next video. I know you don't. God, what a moron. Another couple days of ham sandwiches. All right. Kruczki, you can come and get some now.